All right. So we have covered economic growth as a government objective, and we did talk about the trade cycle in the last class as well. Okay, now we'll talk about it recession, whether it is all bad or not. That is our topic. Now, if you see recession in the diagram, what do you see? By looking at the diagram, what do you think? What should be the features of recession? That is one of the stage of trade cycle. So I want you to answer my question. And let me ask few of you. Yes, we'll start with
थोड़ा
Muhammad
साउंड
Ali.
ऐड कर.
Okay, all right. Muhammad Ali Tarar, please answer my question. What do you think? What is recession all about? What are the features or characteristics which are experienced in recession? Yes, Muhammad Ali, are you there? Muhammad Ali
Uh,
Tarar.
uh, sir, I don't remember exactly.
Okay. Arina Khalid, please say something. Arina, are you there? So Arina is not there, or maybe there is a problem with the mic. Aruj Mustafa, I know that you participate well. Aruj, please, can you explain me what is? Yeah. Yes, Aruj.
सर क्वेश्चन क्या है?
Question is, so please be there na in my class.
सर मैंने अभी
Recession is
ज्वाइन
one.
किया है, आप पहले
Okay,
कैंसिल कर रहे थे?
fine, fine, fine. Okay, recession is one of the stage of trade cycle, as you can see in the diagram. So by looking at the diagram, what do you expect? What should be the features or characteristics of a recession?
सर जब एक बिजनेस लाइक अपने हाईएस्ट पॉइंट से आहिस्ता आहिस्ता नीचे जा रहा हो वो होगा.
Okay, all right, very good. But tell me that how, what would be the characteristics? What does it mean when it is going down? आपने कहा नीचे जा रहा है. What does it mean?
सर उसकी वैल्यू कम हो
Sir,
गई.
Okay, all right. जी मुनीर, मोहम्मद बिन मुनीर.
सर इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी कम हो गई है जिसकी वजह से जीडीपी नीचे आ गया है.
Okay, very good. Mohammed bin Munir, thank you very much. Now, if you see recession phase, so you can easily see recession is there below the x-axis, and on y-axis we take GDP growth. So it means now there is negative growth. Do remember that. Negative growth means that now whatever output which is being produced by the country or the economy, it is less than the output which they produced earlier. For example, if last year the country was able to produce, for example, 1 lakh units or 1 lakh cars, for example, uh, let it be simple. Now they are able to produce only 90,000 cars instead of 1 lakh cars. So now it means that output produced by a country has gone down. So this is what we call negative growth. And you can see in the diagram as well that recession is below the x-axis. So it means it is in the negative. All right. So growth is in negative, right? Negative growth. So output is going down. Now, what does it mean? What are the other characteristics which will follow this? When GDP is going down, what would happen to employment? I want Mughis to answer. Mughis, can you explain me what will happen to employment if there is recession? I explained you recession, the concept of recession. Mughis,
जी सर.
yes, tell me what do you think what would happen to employment if there is recession in the economy?
पता नहीं सर, मैं आया ही महीने बाद हूँ.
Yeah, so that is your fault. Okay, Ramin Shahid, the same question.
There will be a rise in unemployment.
Rise in unemployment. Can you develop this point? How? Why would it happen?
सर एक भी की डिमांड फॉल कर जाएगी तो डिमांड नहीं होंगी, इनकम्स नहीं होंगी.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. But still, there are some connections which need to be in that development. Okay, but still, it's okay. Fine. Thank you. Actually, what happens in a recession, aggregate demand goes down. Okay. Now, why it happens actually? Actually, all business owners, they start thinking that maybe now people won't buy. And why do they think that way? Because if you see before recession, what is the stage? There is boom. So do remember, boom means that there is high economic growth, right? In the economy. It means high amount of goods and services are being produced and they are backed up by high employment, high profit, high prices, right? So it means when it happens and prices they keep on rising and people keep on buying items because now they have the income because income is also rising. People are getting employment. The time will come when business owners they will start realizing that the time may come that people may not buy because the prices are too high now. So this actually leads to lack of confidence among them. They start feeling that now people won't buy. So let's stop our production for a while and see what happens. Okay, when they do it because of that lack of confidence, so what do? They ask certain workers to leave. Why? Because now they are not producing that much. So when they allow some workers to leave or they ask some workers to leave, so unemployment starts rising. When unemployment starts rising, so obviously now people start to get low incomes. So when they get low incomes, they start buying fewer items, fewer goods and services. So eventually it leads to lower aggregate demand as well. So it means in a recession, there is high unemployment, as I told you. There is lower aggregate demand as because people are unemployed. So obviously there is no point increasing the demand of the products or goods and services people buy, right? Then obviously the profit level of the business will get squeezed as well because now not enough people are buying. So what do? They will stop investing money in the business because they know they are not getting the worth which they want from the investment. Again, it will lead to further unemployment. So GDP will start to fall. This is what we call recession. And what happens to prices? Prices start to fall as well. It means we can say there is deflation or negative inflation. And why it happens? Because people are not buying it now. So in order to sell the excess amount of items which are lying there in the warehouses, the producers have to reduce their price. So it means the major characteristics of a recession is that there is high level of unemployment, there is high level of or you can say increasing unemployment, reducing GDP, reducing profits of the business as well, falling prices as well. So now if this is the case, now my question is whether recession is all bad for businesses or for the people or not. That is my question. So I want somebody to answer it. Let me ask Tuba. Yes, Tuba? Can you comment on that? Now you know what is a recession. Now, is it all bad? Now, this is our topic. Is recession all bad? Tuba Nasir?
सर क्वेश्चन रिपीट कर दें.
My question is, I just explained you the concept of recession and what are the main features of a recession when an economy experiences that. Now my question is, if recession is there in the economy, is it all bad for businesses or for individuals or people? Tuba, I am not able to hear you.
Sir,
Yeah.
no.
No. Okay. Why? Can you give me a 1 point?
सर क्योंकि
इन्फ्लेशन के सर मुझे क्लियर नहीं है.
Okay, all right, no problem,
सर मैं
no
बताऊं
problem. Yes, Talal, please.
सर रिसेशन विल कॉज यानी ज्यादा अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट होगी या कुछ लोगों की इनकम में डिक्रीज आएगा तो पीपल विल स्टार्ट स्विचिंग टू इंफीरियर गुड्स और सर इंफीरियर गुड्स की बिजनेस बढ़ जाएगा दैट्स व्हाट आई थिंक
Very good, Talal. Excellent answer.
सर
Extremely
एक
valid.
और है.
Just hold on. Let me develop this point. So it means if recession is there, it means people have low incomes. They have lower purchasing powers. So it means demand for those items who have a low price, it will increase. Or you can say inferior goods which are low in quality, because now people can compromise on quality but they cannot compromise on price because they do not have much income to buy such an item which is expensive. So it means businesses who are able to produce low quality items but at a lower cost, they will have a success. They can grow rapidly. Similarly, those businesses which were earlier manufacturing high quality items, now they have to drop down their quality in order to reduce their cost, because they know that high quality items cannot be sold there. So remember, our focus should be the business rather than the economy. Do remember that. I keep on saying that. So it means if there is a business given in the case study and it is about luxurious items, for example, they manufacture expensive watches, so you can suggest them that it is better to reduce the quality of those watches. Okay, or if they won't do it, then it will have a negative impact on such a business. Otherwise, for other smaller businesses which produce lower quality watches or low price watches, they might get the success in recession as well. This is one point. Yes, Munir. Now, another one. Munir?
सर जब अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ेगी तो जैसे जब एम्प्लॉयमेंट होती है तो कंपनीज अपनी प्राइसेस बढ़ाना शुरू कर देती हैं. जब अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट होगी तो प्राइसेस गिराना भी शुरू कर देंगी, जिसकी वजह से इंडिविजुअल्स को फायदा होगा क्योंकि इन्फ्लेशन नीचे आ जाएगी.
Yeah, okay. Remember, now, there is one problem. Problem is, when prices are falling, we do not call it that inflation is falling. I explained that in detail. So I want, Mukarram, can you explain me that when inflation is falling, we do not say that prices are falling? What, can you explain that? Mukarram?
सर असल में उसमें रेट ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन फॉल करता है, मतलब कि प्राइसेस राइज करती है मगर आहिस्ता आहिस्ता.
Okay, thank you very much. So it means rate of increase in price falls. It means prices are still rising, but they rise at a slower rate or lower pace. But in recession, I say deflation is experienced or negative inflation is experienced. That means prices start falling. So now if prices start falling, my question from Munir is, Munir, you are on hold, right? So when prices start falling, do you think producers are encouraged to produce more? Munir, I think he's on hold, so he can't talk. All right. So now let me explain you. So that is not a valid point. When recession is there, prices are falling. Producers are discouraged to do it. Why? Because when prices fall, the profits of the businesses also fall. So they do not like to produce more. In case of deflation, that is why GDP falls. That is why there is a negative economic growth, because producers do not like to produce at all. Prices are falling and their profits are falling too. Now let's discuss how it can be beneficial for businesses as well. Land and property relatively cheap. In the phase of recession, if you buy property now, okay, to start your business, you might not be able to start your business because it is not an ideal condition, right? Because prices are falling. But you can buy the property for the time being and you can wait for the recession to over and then you can start your business. But what could be the benefit? That you can get the property at a very cheap rate because nobody is buying it. Businesses are not flourishing. People don't have income. But if you have the money with you, you have the savings, this is the ideal time to buy land and property, because when recession will be over, the prices of the property will soar high. Okay, it will be skyrocketing. So that will be the advantage to businesses. Second, demand for inferior goods. I think Talal explained that, so there's no need to explain this point at all. So if still you have a confusion, you can let me know. Third is improved relations between employers and employees. Now, before I explain that, yes, please.
सर जो पिछले वाला पॉइंट है ना वो जरा फिर से क्लैरिफाई कर दें. आपकी आवाज कट गई थी. I think so my internet connection is not good.
Yeah, maybe your internet connection is not there. That is why I always upload my video on my channel, so that if there is some voice problem, you can see over there. You can have a view.
Inferior goods का explain थोड़ा सा बस करता है.
All right. Inferior goods are those goods which are low in quality. Do remember that. And people do not buy them when they have high incomes. They always go for normal goods. And normal goods are those goods which are high in quality. So when recession is there, people are getting unemployed, so their income is falling. When the income is falling, do remember, when income falls, demand for inferior goods rises. Why? Because now people can only afford inferior goods because they are low in quality and they are low in price as well. So businesses can, all those businesses which produce inferior goods, for example, in Pakistan, China sale Mila is there everywhere, right? And we know that all the items which are there, they are low in quality, they are inferior goods. But if, let's say, there is a recession, so people would like to buy items from China sale, right? So those businesses will flourish in recession even. Got it, Faizan?
Yes, sir. Yes.
सर मेरा एक
All right.
क्वेश्चन है.
Yes, Talal.
सर आपने कहा inferior goods are low in quality, right? तो
Yes.
सर अब let's say कि recession से पहले iPhone 11 Pro Max लोग first hand buy करते थे, लेकिन recession के बाद जब slump आया था तब लोग second hand iPhone 11 Pro Max, लेकिन सर उसकी quality तो वही रहेगी ना, like specs तो वही है, लेकिन second hand आपको एक cheaper price में मिला, तो second hand items are considered as inferior goods. तो सर उसको low quality तो नहीं ना कह सकते.
You are right, but again, listen, with the usage of a product, the quality also goes down. What does it mean when we say quality? Quality means customer satisfaction. Now the cell phone is not brand new, right? And the software will also go out of date. Okay, the speed of the software will also be affected. So it means that quality will definitely go down when you buy. And even if we talk about the battery timing, so it means if you buy a used cell phone, you think that it is of the same quality. In fact, it is not. You cannot compare a used item with a brand new item. Talal, got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, my question is, if you see the third point, improved relations between employers and employees can be experienced when there is a recession there. Now, Aisha, can you explain me why? Why it happens and how it is an advantage for a business? Aisha? Aisha Siddiqa, are you there?
जी सर.
Ji, please
Sir,
answer
question
my
repeat
question. My question is that in recession, if you see the third point, there is always improved relation between employers and employees. My question is why it happens, and secondly, how it will give benefit to the business or businesses.
पता नहीं सर. I don't know.
Okay.
सर मैं
Yes, Abdullah, please.
सर इम्प्रूव्ड रिलेशंस इस वजह से होंगे क्योंकि सर देखें सिंस सर अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट ज़्यादा है तो सर जी द workers who are unemployed, sir, they won't be in a negotiating position to demand for higher wages and better working conditions. जिसकी वजह से सर रिलेशंस बेहतर हो जाएंगे. बोथ द एम्प्लॉयर एंड द वर्कर विल ट्राई टू कोऑपरेट विद ईच अदर ड्यू टू द हाई अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट.
What would be the effect on
सर
business?
जी कॉपरेशन बेहतर हो जाएगी एम्प्लॉयर और साथ में वर्कर के बीच में, और साथ में सर उतनी डिमांड्स नहीं होंगी वर्कर्स की थ्रू ट्रेड यूनियंस एंड स्टफ.
Okay,
So-
thank you very much. Correct answer, but slight change is required, and that is, if a worker is unemployed, we do not call worker an employee. Do remember that. So we'll talk about the current employees who are in the job, who are still in the job, even in recession. So they will have a fear, they will get scared that maybe we'll get our turn as well, and we will be asked to leave the job as well. So they try to cooperate. Who? Existing employees, they try to cooperate with the employer because they know that people are asked to leave the job. So my turn will come sooner or later as well. So that is why they try to be more productive, right? And they do not have enough demands, as Abdullah has said, that they do not demand for higher wages. Even trade union does not do anything because they know that a lot of people are getting unemployed. So in order to stop that to happen further, they do not put up much demands. And secondly, when they cooperate, it means they like to work overtime as well, or they do not demand for other facilities at the workplace, which will reduce the cost of the business, right? So in that way, business will be more productive, leading to lower average cost as well, and higher profits can be enjoyed even in recession as well. Okay, so it means management costs can also be saved. Administration costs can also be saved because now you do not need to monitor workers because workers are already scared. So if they are not being supervised, still they will work to their potential.
यार इसे बंद कर दो यार.
Ahad Islam, mute your mic. Ahad, mute your mic.
Sir,
Yeah,
कर
thank
दिया
you.
sir. Sorry about that, sir. Sorry.
All right. Okay. So that is why it is in the benefit of the business. Because it's not easy to manage all the employees. But now if you do not need to negotiate with a trade union or you do not require supervisors because workers are working to their potential because of the fear of being unemployed. So it will reduce the cost in the form of reduction in administration cost as well. Then we have downsizing may increase efficiency at the time of economic growth. I'll explain that because this point is not self-explanatory. Now, downsizing means when you reduce the number of workers at the workplace. So it is done by the management of the business, right? And why do we do it? Because you think that the workers are more than what are required. And it happens in the case of recession because demand is not much. So you reduce their size. Okay, for example, I'll give you an example. There were 1,000 workers. All workers were working earlier, but not to their potential. There was some idle time for them as well. Now, when they reduce the number of workers from 1,000 to 500, let's say, okay, because of recession. So when recession will be over and economic growth starts, they won't hire more workers, businesses. Now they will ask workers to work more. So this will save the cost as well because they want the workers to work to their potential. That there should not be any idle time for the workers, which was there previously when there were 1,000 workers. Because once you hire a worker, it's a permanent worker, it's not easy to remove that worker because you have to give solid reasoning behind it. Then there is a certain amount which is given to the workers. We call it redundancy payment. It's a huge amount. So it's not that easy. But because of recession, there is an excuse that all businesses, they are asking the workers to leave. So we will also ask you to leave and without making a redundancy payment. So once you reduce the number of workers, now you do not increase it when the recession is over. You use the same amount of workers and you ask them to work for more hours, okay, to reduce their idle time. So in that way, you are able to control your cost as well. I hope I have made it clear to everybody. If still there is a confusion, let me know regarding the last point. I can wait for a few seconds. All right, so it's fine now. Okay, let's move on. Now, our next economic objective is inflation. And let me tell you, this is the longest chapter and of your book, but it is an important one as well, because in your paper they will definitely talk about economic indicators, unemployment, inflation. There will definitely be an appendix where they will mention the data regarding inflation or economic growth or unemployment. So you cannot miss out this chapter at all. That is why I'm taking more time to cover this chapter.
सर
Uh,
सर
yes,
आज की
please.
क्लास को छोड़ रखिएगा क्योंकि हमारा 4 बजे ना टेस्ट है इकोनॉमिक्स का, तो उसकी भी जरा रिवीजन वगैरह करनी है.
Yes, so my pace is quite low, I think.
सर मैंने कहा कि जल्दी क्लास को ओवर कर दीजिएगा.
Your test is at 4 o'clock?
Yes sir, exactly 4 o'clock.
Okay, I'll finish my class 10 minutes before my UL time, right?
Thank you sir.
Okay, now, we have covered the first government economic objective, that was economic growth. So trade cycle was linked with that, and recession was linked with that as well. Why? Because recession is also called negative economic growth. I explained that with the help of the diagram as well. Now the second economic objective which government wants to achieve, that is inflation. And we talked about inflation in detail, and you can watch my lessons as well on my channel. It's available there. Now, before we talk about the effects of inflation, we need to talk about how we measure inflation. Although we won't talk about much in detail this concept, but in economics you will, I think you did discuss that, or you did study that this concept. But still, I'll tell you how to measure inflation a bit. Okay, let me show you. All right, I hope you can see. Yeah, now you can see it. All right, now measurement of inflation. I have set an example for you guys, so just watch it closely. Now, let me see, there was somebody there. Kambar is there, and Kambar is always late, you know that. So I won't allow Kambar to get in. Okay, now, just see this example. How measurement of inflation is done. For example, there are 2 years, year 1 and year 2. And government wants to calculate inflation for year 2. Now imagine that the price in year 1 is 200. Now the problem is, when we talk about inflation, we talk about prices of all the items. But I have set only one price level. Is it possible? Can you tell me how? Anybody?
Sir, average
Very good. Thank you very much. It is a lengthy process. I'm not going to tell you that. But yes, average price is taken. So it means that it is a general price level. It includes prices of all the goods and services which are bought and sold by majority of the people. So let's say it is 200. Okay. And we call, okay. And then year 2, what happens? Price level increases and it reaches to 220 now. Now the question is, they ask you to calculate rate of inflation. What is the rate of inflation in year 2 if we compare it with year 1? So remember, whenever the year with which we compare, that is year 1, we call it the prices of that year as P0 or P0. And the year for which we are going to calculate the rate of inflation, we call the prices of that year as PN, or price of current year. PN stands for price of current year. So I can write it here as well, that P0 stands for base year price, base year price level, right? And PN PN stands for current year price level. Okay. Now, in this case, year 1 is the base year and year 2 is the current year. So that is why I have denoted
एक
it
नंबर
with
को ऐड कर लिया
कर लिया है P naught and year 2 with PN. Okay. Now, so year 1 is the base year 2 is the current year. Now, how rate of inflation is calculated? This is the formula, a very simple formula, because it can be a complex one as well. But I am not going to tell you because it is not the topic under discussion as far as A-level syllabus is concerned. Now, Pn minus P naught over P naught into 100. So it's easy. Now, Pn is the price of current year. So in this case, your current year is year 2, right? And Pn is 220. So we'll take 220 here and then minus P naught. So P naught is 200. That is the price of base year, this one. And we divide it with 200 because again the price of base year is 200. And when we calculate it, we get the answer 10%, because why it is 10%? Because we always multiply the formula with 100. So 10% is the rate of inflation. Now, what does it mean when rate of inflation is 10%? It means, I'm just giving you an idea. If the prices were 100 earlier, right? Now the prices are 110. Okay, this is how we read it. Although the price level was 200 and the new price level is 220. But when we say inflation is 10%, we interpret it in that way, that if earlier price level was 100, now it is 110. Why we do it? Because it is easier to understand. Okay, so now you understand this. We can also take another year as base year. It's not all about that you have to take previous year as base year. No, you can take an ideal year as well. If you see to your extreme top right, you will see ideal year is taken as base year and given the price as 100. So you can take an ideal year. It can be 2006, 2005, 2004, any year which you consider as ideal year. And why do we call it as an ideal year? Because there is no major fluctuation in price level in that year. And you take the price level as 100. And then you can use that in the formula as well. But in that case, you will take P naught as 100. Okay, there are various methods to do it, but don't go into that detail because it is not required. The purpose of explaining this is that at least you need to have an idea how inflation or rate of inflation is calculated. So when rate of inflation is 10%, it means prices are rising by 10%, or the rate of increase in prices or price level is 10%. Okay, now let's get back to the original slide now. This one. Now, so measurement of inflation is done. Now, so inflation can cause demand pull inflation, obviously, because inflation can be because of demand pull inflation. I explained that in detail. If you have still any issue, you can see my YouTube channel. Then cost push inflation, again, it is possible. Now, benefits of low inflation. I told you earlier, inflation is harmful, everybody knows, but low inflation is beneficial. I want somebody to answer. So let me see who is there in the list. Manur, please, can you answer? Manu Yazani. How low inflation can be beneficial? Do you think? Yes, please.
आप क्या पूछ रहे हैं सर?
Benefits of low inflation. You think that inflation is beneficial?
Sir, if the rate isn't quite high, then it can be beneficial, as consumers can pass on the prices to the producers, saying that this is the general increase in price. Moreover, as the value of the money falls, the general debt owned by the businesses also reduces. तो उनको असल में कम देना पड़ता है वापस.
Okay, all right, very good, thank you. Actually, when you know that producers are always encouraged when prices go up, right? So in case of low inflation, prices are still rising, right? It means producers are still encouraged to produce more. But at the same time, aggregate demand does not fall. Why? Because inflation prices are rising, but they are rising at a lower pace. So consumers still have sufficient income to buy those items, because rise in the income of the consumers is greater than the rise in the price of the goods and services. I explained that earlier as well. So inflation is beneficial for the consumers as well, because they can still buy it. Their value of money does not go down much, so they may have the same purchasing power, and it is in the benefit of the businesses as well to produce more, because there is steady demand in the market. Now, if you see the last slide I'm covering, cost can easily be transferred on to consumers. I told you earlier, if there is higher cost of production, you can transfer higher cost in the form of higher prices to consumers, and consumers will still be ready to pay it, because the rise in price is very little and it does not affect them much, or it does not affect their purchasing power to a greater extent. So it's easier for the producer. If they get raw material at a higher cost, still they can pass it on to the consumers easily because of low inflation. Value of debt falls. Again, Manur just explained that when businesses they buy loans from somebody, so what happens? When you buy money from somebody, you have to pay it at a later date. Okay, so it is in the benefit of the person who borrows money. That is why I have written value of debt falls. Let me explain you that. Just a minute. All right, you can now see the paint software. Now, for example, a business have borrowed $10,000. Let's say $10,000, and at that time, from $10,000, 100 items can be bought. For example, I'm just keeping it very simple. Okay, and this 10,000 is basically a loan. Okay, or you can say it is a debt. It's the same. Loan or debt is the same. Now, so if you borrow money equal to 10,000 rupees in year 1, okay, at that time, from the same amount of money, the business was able to buy 100 items, for example, raw material for production. Now the business is supposed to pay that amount, let's say in year 4, okay, the amount of loan. But now, if same amount is paid, that is $10,000, $10,000. Now, because inflation is there and prices are rising, so now only, let's say, 50 items can be bought. Let's say. So it means that value of that, we'll say, let me write it there. We'll say value of the debt has fallen. And I told you, when we say value, here it means purchasing power. So earlier, when the business borrowed $10,000, the purchasing power of that amount of loan is huge, because business was able to buy 100 items, and they did buy 100 items at that time. But now when they are going to pay it back in year 4, now the value of the debt has fallen. Purchasing power of that $10,000, although they are paying the same amount back in year 4, but now only 50 items can be bought from it. So who will suffer the loss? The bank, right? The bank will suffer loss, because now the same amount will be given, but it will have low value. It will have low purchasing power. And the person who borrowed the money, or the business who borrowed the money earlier, that business will be in the benefit. And you know, that is why banks charge interest rate. Just because of that, they charge interest rate. They always demand more than the original amount. That is, the actual amount and the interest rate. That because of that reason. But if we exclude interest, we will say that the people who borrow money when there is inflation, they are in the benefit. Why? Because the value of the debt falls. So when they pay it back, it is very easy for them to pay. Let me give you another example. For example, 50 years back, the value of 5 rupees was huge. And you, for example, borrowed 5 rupees from somebody 50 years back. So now if in 2020, you are supposed to return it, the same value, that is 5 rupees, now it is extremely easier for you to pay it back. Because आजकल तो फकीर नहीं लेते भाई 5 रुपए. It means now it is very easy for you to pay it back. Why? Because the value is so low. So the value of the debt has fallen. So it's easier for the borrowers at the time of inflation. I hope I have made you clear on that. Okay, let me finish this slide and I'll set you free. Then, okay, value of debt falls. Now you understand this. Value of assets rises. I told you earlier, no? So this is the when inflation is there. So whatever property you have, its price will rise also. Okay, think about houses, land. If you have purchased the land and now there is inflation, so if the prices of other items are rising, the cost of land will also increase, or the prices, market value of the item, the land or the house will also increase. So it will in the benefit of the businesses who have plenty of assets, because the value of those assets will increase. Okay, and then later on they can sell those assets to generate the amount of money they require to fund their business activity. And last is greater profit margin as well, because prices are rising. So it happens that maybe they bought raw material when there was no inflation, so they got it at a cheaper rate, at a low price, and they store it. And when inflation is there, now they start selling it. So obviously now price will be high. So it means now there will be greater profit margin they will enjoy, because the difference between the cost price and the selling price will be huge, because they bought it when there was no inflation, and now when they are selling it, there is inflation. So this is how businesses can generate huge amount of profit as well. But I'll ask you maybe in the next class, what is the difference between profit and profit margin? That would be my question in the next class. Thank you very much. That's all for today. I'll see you in the next class.